Hello, today I'm going to be talking about tacticity, which is a very important feature in polymers. The stereochemistry and tacticity of polymers is very important to their behavior and properties. Stereoisomers are molecules with the same atoms and the same bond sequence, but different 3D orientations. They are known as spatial isomers, as their differences are dependent on their orientations in space. Within this group of isomers, there are enantiomers, which are two stereoisomers that are mirror images of each other and they aren't interchangeable. They have a chiral center around which the orientation of the side groups are mirror images. Here, X and Y being the side groups, and the mirror plane showing that these two, if they were overlaid, would not fall exactly on top of each other, making them chiral. Tacticity is most easily described using the example of a hydrocarbon backbone and side groups. There are three categories of tacticity that fall under stereoisomers. The first are isotactic polymers, where all the repeat units have the same configuration. To describe tacticity, there's a simplified model known as the Fisher projection, which shows a 3D orientation in a 2D fashion as such. So this would be the Fisher projection of an isotactic polymer, which can be seen here. These are the repeat monomer units, and the XY portion is the same orientation throughout the repeat units, X always being on this side and Y on this side. The second category of tacticity is syndiotactic, which are regular and have an alternating pattern. As can be seen here, the X alternates its position throughout the repeat units, and the Y does so as well. The last category of tacticity are atactic, which is a random placement that can be seen through the Fisher projection with no particular orientation as to where the Y's and the X's are placed. Tacticity is important for several reasons, the most important being its effects on crystallinity. It can be used to determine the crystal structure. For example, an isotactic polymer is usually crystalline and has a helical structure like such, while a atactic polymer is usually amorphous when the side groups are large, but when they're not large, it can be a zigzag shape like such, and a syndiotactic structure can also be a zigzag shape. Tacticity can be determined from the conditions of which the polymer was produced, as well as the mechanisms of propagation. So at high temperatures, that will usually produce an atactic amorphous structure, while lower temperatures will lead to more tacticity, so a syndiotactic or isotactic structure is more likely. In terms of the mechanisms of propagation, ionic polymerization in a polar solution at low temperatures will often lead to a syndiotactic structure, while ionic polymerization, if there's a strong coordination of the counter ion with both the terminal units and the incoming monomers, will lead to an isotactic structure. And that is why tacticity is important in describing a polymer and its behaviors, especially its crystallinity. Thank you for listening.